Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the commentary desk. My name is Bart. This is Tommy F. Baby. Please say the F period. And we're getting ready to move over to North America, where it's Cloud9 versus EnVyUs.
Tommy F. Baby with Lil Bart. Let's get it going, folks. We've
My
got
name is
North
pretty
America.
good. Little Bart, it's way better.
Lil Bart? I modeled you after Bow Wow. That's not better.
I'll take it. It's EnVyUs versus Cloud9. Let's take a look as the boys will do battle today over, well, basically nothing but pride. But I think it's an important game for Cloud9 nonetheless, as this one, if they're able to take it down, it's quite a bit of momentum moving into LAN. And, well, it'll knock EnVyUs down a peg as well, although both of the teams' seedings are guaranteed. Let's take a look at the Cloud9 profile right now.
Yeah, so Cloud9 coming in, and this is going to be the last time that these teams get to play on such a stage before heading into Super Regionals. There's, what, 4 weeks that we're not going to be able to see these teams. And just a reminder, we've got a substitute this week going on. Ooh. Baskin, the solo laner, won't actually be playing. Instead, it's the multi-role superstar Hurriwind.
Yeah, Hurriwind. Another one of those fat chunks, kind of former fat chunks players that's gone on to have a lot of success in the Pro League. Aurora, Cyclone Spin, to name a couple other ones. But they're going up against Envy. They are the #1 seed out of North America. And it's Cyclone Spin, Weekend, Kiki, Incon, and little baby Allied there. Look at him.
I'm looking at him.
What a player. How do you think Allied's split has gone so far? It's been up and down for Envy.
Yeah,
Allied's
been pretty consistent, honestly. A lot of the players we've seen different things out of, but Allied has generally been, the old adage is Allied plays well from behind, and everybody likes to make these conversations about Allied, but really the fall split has been a separation from his old legacy. We've just seen consistent play out of the character, not necessarily owning his lanes, but really making sure that he's able to maintain presence there, and that translates well into the late game.
Well, we'll see if he's able to find his kills. Like Thanatos likes to find kills here. It's the Weepening, Part 1, final day today. All gods playable, 100 gems for first 5 wins of the day, or 5 first wins of the day. You can do it in either order. And yeah, Halloween costume sale on select skins. Half off if they have to do with the Halloweens.
And that Halloween Thanatos skin, so don't play it when you're trying to win, actually. It'll just laugh randomly in the jungle.
It'll laugh at your losses.
Just telling you, everybody on the map, where you decide to be.
EnVyUs, Cloud9, let's do it. Picks bands, Thor gone. Right away. No andinster Thor.
Nope.
Probably a Circuit Hell band pending here, and one final meaningful band as, well, those have been the 2 kind of conceded bands in most games.
So Cloud9 has played Zeus a lot before his change. I wonder 2 things. One, how ready to play Zeus?
Oh, well, we're going to see as Zhong or Zeus this set, I'd say pretty reliably. We'll see
right. And really what I was wondering is, Envy, how scared of MLC Stealth Zeus are they?
Well, not band scared.
Are they first pick scared?
No.
Kiki?
No.
Solo. Cyclone.
Maybe. More likely.
More likely we see the Cyclone Spin Zeus coming out. First pick?
This is, yeah, you can kind of leave Sun Wukong open versus EnVyUs because Cyclone Spin generally isn't picked till last, but it's not unlikely that you'll see Incon pick that up for support either. But no, there's the Zhong, and that is a scared counter pick for sure. Yes. Maybe not scared, but respectful.
Of course. Zhong has been potent recently. Just really the past couple of weeks, he recently got a change to his base stats, which allowed him to be so much more tanky than he normally was, which is pretty much the goal when you're playing Zhong anyway. So just sort of a nudge in the same direction that he was already trending. And first picks coming out for Cloud9, you see a Sobek and a Sun Wukong.
Well, both of those picks make sense, I think. Without their starting solo laner, get something pretty safe here to give over to Hurriwind, and either of those picks will suffice. So it'll also be the idea, I suppose, taking support. They'll play the support Sobek to take it away from the solo lane for EnVyUs, but EnVyUs will respond with a Bacchus, the hot Bacchus, in fact. Bacchus getting some love recently.
Bacchus is a character that, so he just sets up so well, not only with the belly flop, but also Intoxicate. It makes the rest of the team fight very hectic, and it brings everybody's life bar down by about a quarter late game, so impactful to say the least.
Just remind everybody that every meta is a tank meta.
Every single one.
All metas are tank metas, as you can see here. Sun Wukong, Sobek, Bacchus, Bellona, and Zhong, the first 5 picks. And then a mage, Janus, makes his appearance on the battlefield here.
So no Zeus.
No Zeus.
No
very unlikely he fits anywhere else. I mean, I guess you could probably jungle with him, right?
Stop.
I mean, it would work, wouldn't it?
I mean, he's
Just
got
zap everything.
Sure, you could just zap things. You're gonna walk everywhere. No mobility on a jungler is never a good thought. Hunbat spanned out by Envy, and then the last ban going to be a Ho Yi.
Why not? Don't want to box him.
Well, he's just been so popular. I mean, he's just picked in virtually every single game that we've seen since his recent change. And
There's a lot of team fight on the side of EnVyUs. Don't want to give him even more synergy there with the Hui.
A belly flop into an Intoxicate and Rise and Falling Suns is death for more than one player.
Yeah, it's hard to get out of that, certainly. Apollo. One more pick remaining here on EnVyUs' side. Who will it be and why? A solo laner figuring in prominently here. Bellona jungle for weekend. Seems likely at this juncture. But no, it will not be that. It'll be, well, no. This could still be the Awilix Cyclone Spin solo lane extravaganza.
You always have the asterisk on the ban phase.
Now, the normal team would be running Bellona in the solo lane in this situation. But you never know. Cyclone Spin could just like this Awilix versus, say, Sun Wukong matchup, which I don't really get how, but hey.
I honestly think it's a Awilix solo lane Bellona jungle. In my heart of hearts, I think that is where Envy is going to go.
Okay, so now a Hercules. So that'll be the solo laner, and I think that's a little bit better matchup for the Awilix than Sun Wukong. So is Wukong jungle? Or is Hercules jungle here?
It's Hercules jungle. Hercules jungle can impact the game in multiple different ways as far as just displacement and raw damage. We're going to see the Awilix. All right, so we will see the Awilix in the jungle. But we do see the Hercules. So I'm 1-1, even down the middle. All right.
So jungle Awilix, jungle Hercules.
So I said that I thought we would see the swap between the Bellona and the Awilix, mainly because of the players that are on this team, Bart. But if you get down to the nitty-gritty, having the ability to rotate to all lanes with an Awilix Bacchus combination is not something to shake a stick at. So
well, EnVyUs has struggled in the last few weeks, and maybe not too surprising to see them kind of switch it up a little bit here and put a little bit more traditional. Like, try something out. Get Cyclone Spin a frontliner. A little bit more conservative.
Andinster on this Hercules jungle. One, it's something I've seen Andinster do before. And two, as I said, Hercules can impact the game in multiple ways. One, he deals a decent amount of damage by himself. Two, he'll be able to use his displacement to his advantage. And three, being able to start things off with a driving strike. You come from behind your opponent in the lane, right? So there's a one-on-one situation in a lane. Hercules comes from behind, driving strikes. The player uses their jump, follows it up with the Earthbreaker. I mean, that's a problem you don't want to deal with. So Hercules jungle, not the most popular pick, but definitely has its moments.
And then the boulder. There's always the boulder to worry about. Now, did you see that video that recently came out of the guy showing off that you can Earthbreaker someone and then boulder them in midair?
I did not.
So then they can land and driving strike. I saw it was in practice mode, so I'm not sure if it actually works in a server setting. But,
right. But it would work on land.
Little fancy new tech.
Would work on land, though, eh?
No. Not necessarily.
Okay.
The practice mode is a fickle beast.
Interesting to say the least. We'll start off in the mid lane. Junglers making their way here. Weekend crossing right past those right harpies. And Weekend and Kiki will head directly towards the left, but BaRRaCCuDDa picking up first blood right away.
Good thing he's the best hunter from behind, eh? Because he's behind now, Tom. You get it? First blooded. Minute in.
That'll do it.
Yeah, that's the old don't get caught by Sobek. That's what happens. I mean, you get snatched and then you get rooted. Be it the Neith or the Cupid, or really those two kind of being the premier best at following up the Sobek pluck.
Yeah,
it's pretty difficult to deal with.
It makes the laning phase so interesting, and it's easy to be zoned out when there's a Sobek here because just the threat of that flip is always on board.
Yeah, and at level 1, it looks like Ally did not take his dash, so he got caught and he got killed. And now he finds himself 2 levels behind BaRRaCCuDDa, about level and a half now.
Especially that early on when the minions are doing that much damage. So you get flipped behind enemy lines, and I would 50% of the HP is probably just done by the minions.
Just off the mark there was Jeff. Knockup immune is that Bacchus burp, so he's not affected too heavily by the tail whip, but Allied takes more harass now. How many pots did he come back with? It looks like he's got another health pot banked up, though, so he'll be okay with that Death's Toll and Gauntlet start. Plenty of regen.
Exactly. He'll be able to build up his HP bar a little bit. Mana, less of a concern, but still has a potion.
Versus the Neith, though, I mean, it's gonna be tough. I mean, Sobek's gonna come through and sickle strike you, whittle away. Oh, okay.
Cyclone Spin picking up an early kill by diving the tower at level 5.
Yeah, Sun Wukong only level 4. Oh, misses the guess there. Did stealth. Now
Figured Cyclone was still pushed up.
Yeah, he's got to clear this wave out now, and then. But it does force out that teleport 1 out of the Sun Wukong. Never a situation you want to be in. You always would like to pick up your boots and maybe a teleport 2. It's a big old cooldown FD, but Bellona will fall back, pick up her teleport 1 as well. It's a free back for Cyclone Spin. Didn't feel comfortable staying in the lane without the upgrade of the boots 2 versus the Sun Wukong boots 2. No reason to give away a kill now with the full level advantage.
So Cyclone Spin really taking advantage here of the substitute coming in. Hurriwind, this is the first game we're getting to see him play for Cloud9. Recently selected as a substitute in the past couple of weeks. Hasn't been here for the whole split. In fact, earlier in the season, we saw forfeits out of Cloud9 because they did not have a substitute at all. So in the later stages of the split, we see the opt for a substitute. And
found a good one.
Hurriwind, definitely not a poor player, but unfortunately he's going against one of the premier players in North America of Cyclone Spins, who was able to take advantage of the not necessarily lack of experience, but lack of recent experience, I want to say. It's been a while since we've seen Hurriwind on the big stage.
Well, you know, always good to have your sub getting a few reps here and there, especially in a high-level game like this one that doesn't really affect your standings at all.
Yep.
It's always good to get that. That's a good rep to get, I think. But not that Baskin doesn't need experience as well. He's not the most tenured player either. The World Weaver comes in onto Weekend. He's taking quite a bit of damage. Suku over the wall. Doesn't look like that Hercules boulder hit, but MLC Stealth's ultimate will indeed. Sobek's ultimate going to be used here as well. So will Kiki's. He's pumping out a lot of damage. Will heal back up a bit here as well. Able to retreat, but down through the portal he goes. In comes Bacchus. He's pushed out by the driving strike. Allied going to try to hold this choke, but BaRRaCCuDDa pretty healthy here. JeffHindla is going to rotate back in as well. Bacchus needs to be a little bit wary here. He can get snatched. No, it doesn't look like it's up. No charge prey.
Love the juke of Incon. It's when you take a look at how Janus' ability works, the unstable vortex, it looks so... There's just so many holes. There's so many ways to dodge it, right? There's a figure 8, essentially. And it winds up being impossible to juke anyway. But Incon finds the holes and doesn't take the damage from it.
Yeah, it's not an easy thing to do.
It looks like it should be because it's not a line attack. There's so many holes, but when a Janus is moving and it's coming at you in real time, suddenly it's very different.
Cyclone Spin's going to zone 3 members here of Cloud9.
He's got help behind. I love the decision from Incon to play it safe behind the wall. Nobody knows he's there.
Initiation just off the mark, though. Cyclone Spin, he'll get in, but he can't get the bludgeon off, dealing the real damage. And now they've isolated Kiki here, but that's going to be a full-on retreat from Cloud9 nonetheless. Kiki will take a couple smacks from that Sun Wukong decoy.
No harm, no foul. EnVy decided to get a little aggressive, unable to find anything out of it. Allied here on the right-hand side, trying to make something worth. Blue buff going the way of EnVy.
Casual boulder there trying to snipe away the blue buff. Looks like it was successful for Andy. He'll drop that. And much to the pleasure of Hurriwind, I'm sure. That's a selfless play there from andinster. He's normally a little bit more self-centered. I mean, he's a farmer. He's a big playmaker. But there you'll see him showing off his kind side.
Kiki gets hit by one portion of the unstable vortex, not both.
Yeah, he did his thing. He did doing his best Incon impersonation there.
Cyclone Spin here. This time has the numbers advantage against Hurriwind, who shows up. Really wanted that blue buff.
Oh, did BaRRaCCuDDa get it? He got it. Oh, that's tough for Allied. Now JeffHindla going to move as well, and he's going to be forced to ult out of this one. Is the burst in time? It's not. Unstable Vortex just a little bit too late there. And they make it out. Incon nonetheless. Can he land the auto shot in the Intoxicate? He can indeed. BaRRaCCuDDa. He knows how to play the game.
As you said, in the Intoxicate, such a hard thing to do. Intoxicate, you just said your character move in a different direction, so a lot of accuracy being showcased there coming out from BaRRaCCuDDa, being able to compensate for the Intoxicate, still land the hit. Strong stuff out of the longtime hunter for Cloud9.
Cyclone will take us back here as well as Sun Wukong. Still having that level advantage is Cyclone. They'll both port right back in. Nothing too exciting happening there. EnVyUs falling behind, though, here in the early game. Just under 1,000 gold going to the side of Cloud9. Experience likely following suit here as well, as we're just approaching 7 minutes. 3-1 for the boys of Cloud9. They did pick up the first blood in this contest as well. But the team fight, kind of mid-game composition here from Envy still hasn't really had a chance to shine yet. We'll see what it's able to do. Going into this very disruptive lineup for Cloud9. A lot of CC, a lot of ability to disrupt the fight, and good sustained damage. It'll be interesting. EnVyUs very burst-oriented. Yeah,
Cloud9 really all about the control that they can bring to the table. Even andinster, you know, the jungler providing some control. They'll be stunned out for a second, able to walk away. Whereas Envy, they're really just sort of waiting, as you said, for the mid-game. 7 minutes early on, 3-1, probably not where Envy wants to be, but no surprise to them with the picks that they've selected. Wukong, Kiki, Cyclone, these are characters that are not going to be that scary early on. You want to see them come more into themselves past 10 minutes.
Summonar Cloud for Sun Wukong, forced out at the mid-camp. It's probably not really the best option that he could have hoped for there. Looked like the camps did go to Cloud9 there. Janus on SPL Vortex, pretty hard to confirm through. It does about, I don't know, 40-50% of that minion's HP. Away will go Kiki. Okay. Well, happy with his start. He'll have his boots online roughly the same time as Janus here. About 300 gold behind MLC Stealth, who's gotten involved in a kill and had one of his own. Speaking of kills, 11 attempts here on Incon. Tough to actually confirm a kill into a Bacchus, though, and over the wall he'll go.
Yeah, able to jump over the wall, no problem. Love the decision-making by Wukong as well. There to provide some sort of help. Throw the cat over through the wall. Goes through the wall, of course, but not really going to full commit. It's at the end of the day. The Bacchus could get away by himself, so no reason to put yourself in harm's way if Bacchus can do it by himself. So keeping his distance while still providing something to help the team out.
So they're Kiki holding that wave, letting Incon get into range for a little bit of bonus XP. Not electing to fill his bag up there, Kiki, so he must have the full sack of demons. Of course, it takes 2 abilities to exercise one of the souls. I guess that also implies that all of the minions are possessed by demons.
I suppose so. I mean, have you seen how robotic they look? They're just mindless drones.
Yeah,
it makes sense.
Demon spawn. They're avatars.
Cloud9 very aggressive
super
here
aggro
in the opponent's jungle, just walking anywhere they choose.
Oh, they're 4-manning, letting their solo laner try to square off. Intoxicate will come out from Incon there. Envy, a little bit of an awkward spot, but BaRRaCCuDDa locked down nicely there. A well-timed stun
Allied
from Kiki. Allied, this should be an easy kill onto BaRRaCCuDDa. And there it is as he goes in. Now just has to get out gracefully here, but it looks like Kiki will zone with the ultimate. Oh, just off the mark was the belly flop. Beads, Boulder still comes out. No ultimate coming out of Awilix, but should be able to walk down. And is there indeed they can. Allied. They'll escape with a fairly low HP there, as will young Kiki. Both of them. They go in deep for that kill, and they're able to secure it nicely.
You say escape. Allied escaped. He wasn't looking to leave anytime soon. He got hit by the boulder and brought down to 2% HP.
Yeah, he just stayed.
And then just stayed.
Yeah, he got out with a little bit of health, I guess. and the Gold Fury is converted. It's a good thing he did stay, because they didn't have the damage. Without him, Kiki, Incon, and Wukong, and Allied now all very, very low on the side of Envy. But efficiently farming the jungle nonetheless. No one too worried that there's going to be some mysterious burst out of one of these back camps that'll kill them. So
we see that a lot out of 200 specifically come to mind. Allied and Reels, and most recently in the last performance out of Epsilon, Emilito really did it as well. And you see that from those teams that I just mentioned are 3 of the top teams in their regions. And what that is the Hunter gets very low, but Hunter's able to provide damage from a distance, from a moderate distance, will outrange most of the damage that they're going to be threatened by, or at least surprised by. So they can stay in the fight with very little HP as long as they know where all of the threats are going to come from. Allied understands that he's on the right side of the fight, and everything that can hurt him is on the left. He can stay in that fight and provide help.
Right, with enough vision and enough control. Speaking of control, andinster putting on a clinic here. Incon takes a ton of damage, and he's going to go down. No, blocked momentarily there, but the boulder comes over the top. Kiki did his part, but it wasn't enough. The demon's coming out, doing a ton of damage, but it's a mystical male Sun Wukong. He's going to die at this tower, and there's not going to be much that can stop him. Maybe the Mez. It will be in time. The ultimate clips on the backside as well, and that'll be enough to pick up Wukong with the Jingu Bang, and away will go Hurriwind back through the ultimate Cyclone Spin. No ultimate of his own to follow this one up, and the threshold slow should be enough. Cyclone's going to chase it nonetheless, but here comes the Hercules. And they're not going to concede that red buff. Can't imagine they will. Oh my, over the top is Allied. He wants to make more out of this. Now has to figure out a way out of the Hercules trap. Slowed down, but driving strike away. Cyclone Spin off the mark with a bludgeon. And now it's the 2 bruisers going to try to push off Bellona Apollo from this red buff. Neith could catch them here, though. Uh-oh, things going to get hairy.
Neith is here, but she's disarmed for a moment. Hit by the damage out of Allied. Beads right on through, not going to connect with the dash is andinster. Allied served right back up into the stun and a Hurriwind. He's going to try to escape, and he will. And here comes Incon trying to save the life of Cyclone Spin. From the right is Kiki. And as soon as the card's thrown out, Cloud9 realized that they don't have the numbers advantage that they thought, and they'll retreat.
Yeah, now Cloud9, they find themselves a bit low. Envy, they can take now 2 buffs here instead of just the 1. BaRRaCCuDDa's going to try to backflip, and Janus is going to bail him out. The AoE root will hit Incon. JeffHindla, he'll fall back as well. The buff was secured, it looks like, by Cloud9 on the right. I'm sorry, at the left side here, camp. It's going to be at least zoned out for a moment by Incon. And red is going to be attempted here by Cyclone Spin. Ooh, I don't know. This one is getting close. Jugabang on the mark again. Cloud9 able to secure both of those buffs. EnVyUs has invested a lot into this. Here comes the ultimate from Zhong.
Big moves out of Incon, going to bring everybody low, and it's going to force the retreat out of Cloud9. Envy pick up 1 kill by way of weaken in that exchange, and that puts Envy ahead on the kills, 6-5.
Very, very aggressive play. And in the meantime, Allied, he's taking the tier 1 here on the left side. He's got a wave pushed up. One more coming in, and it'll at least serve to get him back to, well, what you would expect it to be even with BaRRaCCuDDa, but instead has pulled ahead 2 levels even after getting first blooded. Allied showing that recovery here. That a couple of solo kills with his ultimate really helping out.
He's been able to consistently find the stragglers with that ultimate. A lot of times the ultimate used to get out of problems. Allied's using it to put himself into problems, but he's getting the kills for it, and his team is showing up to turn those problematic situations into ones that he's totally fine to walk into.
Allied feels the pressure coming in. 4 members of Cloud9 rotate in for this purple buff, and he'll go out right away with the moves. That is the name of that ability, actually.
The moves.
It's called the moves. Way to go, Scott.
It's just the way she goes. It's just the way she goes. It's the way she moves. The moves is one of the more interesting named abilities, actually.
Well, it could have been called Dash Strike, like all the other abilities.
What is the real name for Suku, actually?
I think it's called Suku. Summon Suku.
Summon Suku.
Mm-hmm.
Makes sense. Summon Suku. Look at that.
Look at me go.
Summon Suku. Very interesting terminology.
You know, in 20 years, I'm going to go to some bar and there'll be Smite trivia, and I'll really be able to show off my knowledge.
Watch out.
Summon Suku.
Take me. I'll come. I
Take
won't
you
be
to
able to
this-
land Summon Suku, but...
Yeah, what can you bring to the table?
How many heads does Agni have?
At what part in the game's life?
He's really cool. He's got 2.
He used to have 3.
Wow.
Did you not know that?
I can't fathom how cool that would be.
It was pretty neat.
3 cools over 2? 3 heads over 2? 3 cools?
He has a head of cool now?
Yes.
All right.
It's pretty neat.
Yeah, 3 heads.
Wow. Now, was that a... Why did that change?
The artist didn't really like the way it looked. The one who made it. He was like, I want to redo it, I believe was the case. Also, I think in most of his lore, it was like that he had 2 or 7, I want to say. Not really 3. 3 was just kind of, I guess, arbitrary.
Why not?
And, so now there's 2.
I can't... I'm glad we've got 2. I can't fathom 7.
No, 7 heads is ridiculous.
I don't know how cool that is.
That's 7 cools.
I mean, now you're crossing into... It's like a bell curve, essentially.
Oh, okay.
0 heads, not very cool. 2 heads, very cool.
That's the peak of cool?
It's almost the peak. I think maybe 2 or 3 or 4.
Okay.
But once you start eclipsing that, you go way too...
Diminishing returns on the additional heads at the margin, is what you're telling me.
Exactly.
Got it. Thanks.
16
Well, there's been
on
some
the clock.
farming. Yeah, they've just been farming up here as we approach this next Gold Fury. You can see 3rd items being finished up more or less here.
And it works out very well for Envy. Like we were talking about earlier, this sort of reprieve in the action is kind of what Envy wants.
Oh, Cyclone Spin. Take some harass. At least.
Incon, very
Incon.
aggressive.
Oh, okay. See what happened there?
Yep, Beads stops the pull.
Belly flop, Weaken throws the ultimate out from in the jungle. They're trying to pull Andy, but not going to happen. Andy beats early. He knew what the score was. No one taking too much damage from the Zhong ultimate. The Banish nicely coming out as well, and Kiki takes a beating there. Incon should have belly flop back up any time now, but he's getting chain CC'd. Neith ultimate going to come out as well. Going to stun him as he lands right into the Janus portal. Again with the Uncivil Vortex. Cloud9 playing just absolutely amazingly here. Coordination completely on mark. Allied with the late rotation yet again. He'll activate Audacity, dashing through the minions, trying to backpedal and do what he can. Just off the mark there with both of those CCs. You can see Ally thought one of them hit and went ahead and beats as well. Jingle Bang, and the tower dive comes out. 3 frontliners here from Team EnVyUs, and they are not worried about a ting. Allied will fall. Down will go Hercules. A Cyclone Spin shows off that Bellona. Surges back. Weakened very low. Doesn't matter. Down he goes. Too quick on the pull is BaRRaCCuDDa, and that is a 1 fight for Envy. A long one. Wow. It ends up being a delayed deicide as well, as Kiki did go down at the beginning of that fight, and the Gold Fury coming their way as well. Cloud9 surges back into this game.
You know, it's interesting. I was just opening up the conversation to say the previous reprieve in action that we saw was good for Envy, because they're the composition that really wants to fight in sort of that mid game, but able to just execute better. And we're seeing the how powerful andinster's Hercules can really be. The flip into the driving strike and all the other crowd control that Cloud9 has at their disposal gets to the team fight, and the Gold Fury ultimately winding up in a 2.5K gold swing for the red team, up 10-7.
Well, it just comes down to the compositions here. I mean, anytime you see a fight go that long, it's going to be the credit of Cloud9. Some Wukong, Hercules, Sobek, Neith all have, you know, nice sustain abilities. Hercules and Sobek, really in particular, in addition to Sun Wukong, all 3 of them really do benefit from that warrior class with these long extended engagements, allowing them to get a few rotations of their spells out. Look over the side of EnVyUs, they're far, far more burst oriented. You know, they really need that Zhong ultimate, Bacchus ultimate, and a Awilix kind of combination to pick off a target right away at the beginning of these fights to be able to win them. And yeah, well, it didn't, and they got just kind of outmatched as the fight continued on. You saw though that Cyclone Spin was able to bring it back with just the help of Weaken to burst down a target right before that fight ended. And they were able to pick off andinster, but they need to get that at the beginning, not at the end.
Right, yeah. It's the timing, really. And here's going to be andinster getting very aggressive and taking away the red buff away from Envy.
Nah, he didn't get it. No, he didn't get it. It goes over to old Jonger. And he'll happily waddle away with it. The pluck. Incon is the target. Tail whip hits him at the tail end as well. Ally throwing out in-hands best he can. In comes Stealth. He'll get the slow, forcing out the leap from Bacchus. Kiki's on the backside farming up for the moment. Look at old Sun Wukong, left all alone in the solo lane. He'll probably get this tower now. Cyclone's port is not up, so looks like they're going to concede the tier 1 here to defend the tier 2 on the left side. Smart stuff from Cloud9. They're going to spread the map.
Hurriwind gave up first blood, but since then has been a really important part of these fights, either securing the kills or really setting them up with the Ox form or the cat stuns. Right now, Weaken going to tumble.
Nothing you can really do there.
Surrounded by 4 players. I mean, just get smoked sometimes. But Hurriwind really impacting this game a little bit more than I might have anticipated.
MLC stealth is so good. Jeez Louise.
What makes you say that?
I mean, he just like...
Not that I disagree.
No, I mean, it just the way that he plays Janus, it's just so dangerous. I mean, you'll see consistently that's like the MLC stealth portal, basically. Yeah. Like, you put it out there, you just wait, and then they play the 50-50 of who's going to come through it. Is it going to be the burst? Is it going to be a frontliner? Or is it nobody? And, yeah, it's been very successful, really, to date. As well as his placement of those portals. I mean, you saw there on the ground as well. It looks like Sobek's going to get picked off. No driving strike. Away, moving out of this fight is JeffHindla. Looks like he's going to be fine for now. Cyclone gets hit by another Vortex. The burp. The knockup from Bacchus is good. Cyclone's been very, very low. There is no ultimate from Janus to try to pick this one off. Here comes Hurriwind, though. Late rotation from the Sun Wukong. And back in his Weaken. He'll snag one, but it speeds away not so fast.
Every single grab out of the ultimate from Awilix has been beads.
Yep.
Cloud9 is saving their beads for that stuff. Understanding that the stuns coming out of Cyclone Spin and Kiki and what Incon can do to the team are setups momentarily. If Weaken gets a pull, that's death. You're so far away from the rest of your team. So they're prioritizing the abilities in their beads, and Cloud9 really making the smart decisions with respect to CC immunity.
Awilix hasn't really shown up, though. I mean, we've seen the pull come out a few times. 4 assists, 1 kill as well. 5 out of 7 kills participated in by Weekend. But maybe this Mail of Renewal will help him out a bit more here. Get some of that cooldown reduction online in addition to the Jotun's Wrath. And, of course, all the survivability this item brings. It's really one of Awilix's major issues is that her HP pool is very, very small. It's not Hebo small, but it's small.
Yeah. One of the...
Hebo small is super small. Teeny tiny.
Evo jungle, though, still a thing.
No.
Still a thing.
Not a thing.
Still a thing. Always a thing.
What do you buy, Blink?
You can. You can.
Might as well just play Anubis jungle at that point.
Why not?
I mean, it's pretty good.
It's a cool thing.
It's definitely got the clear potential.
Incon chasing out Cloud9 by himself. The rest of the team on the right side guarding the blue. Uh-oh, here's a collapse from C9. Incon's in some trouble here, boy.
They got a nice CC chain here on the Janus. He'll beads the pole, but he does get halfway through. Not that kind of instant beads that we've seen in the past from the team. Incon still has bit off more than he could chew. Took a lot of damage from some Wukong's Mystical Mail. Allied, oh my, he's just getting smacked from such long distance. Over the wall will come some Wukong. Can he follow this up? And yeah, Allied, sorry, buddy. It's just not going to be that easy.
Cloud9 just controlling this game.
Yeah, they're playing really well. I mean, they're playing like they're ready to repeat at Worlds.
Wow.
This is an impressive performance versus the best team in North America.
And to EnVy's credit, I mean, they're only trailing by 4,000. Cloud9 with this type of performance.
Every fight is just like they have no shot.
Exactly, and I'm surprised that EnVy's only trailing by 4,000.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they are the best team for a reason.
Exactly. That's, you know, EnVy, just the type of game that Cloud9 is able to really put on with that tower, another 1,500 gold to turn that 4,000 into closer to 6. Team EnVy gonna
they
try
mess
and
a
turn
lot
things around.
They find the Hercules. Incon's going to maintain the front line here, and it's a nice counter initiation there by EnVyUs.
Very strong counter.
There wasn't really even much of a window there. It wasn't like Cloud9 necessarily overextended. Just right as the tower fell, that's when they timed their surge, and they were able to catch out a little bit of a over anxious andinster.
Smart play. I'm pointing to Gold Fury. Incon. All right, looking to catch the stragglers out. The knowledge that EnVy has gained right there is that BaRRaCCuDDa is the only one really right here. Having to blow the ultimate is Allied.
Hurriwind's going to make his way in as well. Janus' ultimate comes through.
And that might be a problem. EnVy wants to get rid of it, and they do.
Yeah, they have to. They'll get a two-man knockup. The pull will get one this time, but Weekend will get dumped on as soon as he has an opportunity to put on any damage. He's out of the fight. Zhong, his ultimate is down. It was used in that last engagement, and Cloud9 has found themselves a fight when there's really not any ultimates available on the side of EnVyUs. In fact, there are no ultimates available, and this is going to get ugly really fast. Uncivil Vortex off the mark. That's good news, but Allied is that high-value target they're able to find, and now this Gold Fury is opened up for free for Cloud9, and they'll take it. And this game is starting to get out of reach for EnVy. I mean, if they keep on losing these fights and keep on losing objectives after them, they've already lost their Tier 2 mid. Tier 2's remaining on the left side, and a Tier 1 even on the right side, but Cloud9 really a dominant performance.
Allied suffered a lot there by not noticing the shield of the underworld, unfortunately. About 3 to 4 basics coming out from Allied onto himself, essentially, by way of Hurriwind's shield of the underworld. Just trying to dump into that Sun Wukong, unfortunately dealing more damage to himself than the opponent. Not able to lifesteal out of it, so the early Devo gloves not helping him in that regard. And just smoked himself enough for Cloud9 to be able to turn around and just take him off the board. And now it's, what, 8,000 gold lead? Rough.
Both Tier 1s here on the right side, just a couple shots away. Looks like, for the moment, andinster is going to have the push. Cyclone Spin on his way to defend that tower as well, though. Back and forth. Just a liability. Just a 500 gold bounty waiting to happen to either side now.
Weekend by himself sees the Sobek and immediately summons Suku.
There you go.
Walks away.
That's that, yeah.
Now, would you say summons Suku or uses summon Suku?
I think he summons Suku. Because Zhong recalls demons.
He doesn't use recall
He doesn't
demons?
use recall demons.
All right. All right.
Yes, it is also his ultimate. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
And in fact, I think the tooltip says Zhong recalls demons doing X, right?
Upon activation, demons
Nope.
pulse out
Damn.
from his bag. There you go. So no.
Some of them do. So I bet Suku says summons Suku and mounts her Panther.
Mounts her Panther Suku.
Jeez.
So interesting that Panther is capitalized,
It's,
actually.
well, Panther is the first name of the cat.
Oh.
Yeah. It's actually a jaguar.
Is it actually Panther S. Uku?
It's Panther, yeah, Panther F. Suku. Please say the F.
Please say the S.
Oh, sorry.
Panther S. Uku.
Oh, I get it.
Gonna jump in off of Suku, actually. BaRRaCCuDDa caught out. Here comes MLC
Oh,
Stealth
oh,
trying to
oh.
help. Allied already smoked.
And I bet you Hurriwind wish he had that animals back. He was not looking for bird form there. But looks like Awilix is going to take a spill nonetheless here. Suku, remember, as you mentioned, he jumped off of it, which does make the cooldown a bit longer than if you choose to simply dismount.
Yep.
Shield of the Underworld. Looks like they're going to push some damage back at Kiki. Kiki forced to run. Hurriwind happy to follow suit. Really more of a cheeky play than anything. I'm not sure that was really in his favor on Sun Wukong there. But I guess he does have crits now as Why not? Sun Wukong's passive, also maybe one of the best in the game.
Cyclone Spin, very low.
Hey, there's the old the Tom Badager. You were talking about that one earlier. Driving strike in, wait for him to leap, and then snatch him back.
Oh, yeah.
That's what they call that one.
That's what they call it now. Incon forced to jump over the wall. First Phoenix of the game goes to Cloud9.
All right.
Just by pushing.
Yeah, they just kept on fighting. And if Envy doesn't have an answer for this, well, let's just keep on fighting from Cloud9. They don't really have any response to give, though.
Exactly. At this point in the game, Bart, I mean, really, the strategy for Cloud9 is to press buttons. And I make that as basic as possible because that's how basic it is. They're leading by 11,000 gold, and there doesn't have to be an intelligent way to these team fights, right? You avoid the combination of the Bacchus into the beacon.
Don't throw at the fire giant and keep on fighting.
Exactly. There doesn't have to be a intricate strategy for what Cloud9 is doing. They're just leading in all numbers, and they just have to deal more damage. And that's how basic things become at this level of lead. Whereas Team Envy, they have to do things much more strategically. Envy needs to find these individual picks. They need to get the grabs over the walls for weaken. They need to allow Ally to find the backline by himself later on in the engagement rather than starting
They need Bacchus Zhong to do like 50% HP to 3 or 4 characters and Awilix to kill one outright, and then Cyclone Spin and Ally to rotate in late. I mean, that's like the only fight they're going to win at this point.
Exactly. There's so much more intricacies in the way that Envy has to fight. And here's one. They could get this pick on the Hurriwind. Granted, it's a sudden
Fire Giant started, though, and they're going to be forced to split here. Incon's going to go try to disrupt it. Fire Giant already taken. The response from Envy just too late. Allied is up across the sky. That is the name of the Apollo Ultimate as well. And he did take out Incon there. Ultimate is going to come through from Janus. Not doing too much. The decoy from Sun Wukong going to take the tower aggro for now. Allied will fall again on the Apollo, and it's a full-on retreat. Kiki, he'll take a spill. Smack, 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 smack. Down you go.
Likely game here, folks.
And he'll take that one. Fire Giant buff, 1 Phoenix down, 2 members up, and the final tower falling. Yeah, this looks like it's got the makings of the end of the video game.
Yeah, Cloud9 about to tell their boys that they're going to see you mañana.
Yeah? Still listen to that dram, huh?
I mean, Hotline Bling just sounds so much like it.
That Virginia sound.
Titan here being aggressed on by Cloud9, and
GG.
Ultimately the game. And this right here, Bart.
Momentum.
This game right here, Bart. This was just execution. It was just strong execution coming out from Cloud9. Nothing too extravagant, nothing too crazy, nothing too off the wall. No. Just standard picks, doing exactly what you expect them to do. Not a surprise in the book, and it just came out on top.
Hercules jungle, a little surprising. Did some work.
A little bit.
And
you know
really,
andinster, not so much.
Yeah, they're the Cloud9 beads usage against this Awilix. This was surprising. Ally getting caught out for first blood. I guess you just don't play against that many Sobeks. Probably not like a really popular ranked character either for support. Yeah. With the Kepris of the world still out there and available. Kepri not very valued by these top NA teams. Sobek still climbing up. He's been top picked in most NA games I've seen out of the top 4 so far in the last few weeks. Number 1 player of this game though, it can be only one MLC Stealth, and it's MLC Stealth. 6, 1 and 14 as Janus mid. 48-point performance as well. And the kid's good.
Yeah, again, just these long-range portals, the ultimates, they're always available. Yeah. Every single time. If you watch this game, if you watch the games of Cloud9, this game specifically, and you don't have much knowledge of the game outside, through space and time and purification beads don't have cooldowns. Because every single time they were absolutely needed, they were absolutely there. You never saw a single ultimate out of this Janus that wasn't necessary.
And you saw that beads of the Awilix pull. That was like the latest beads of the pull that happened the entire game.
Yeah.
Cloud9 was really prepared. That was a nice ultimate as well. It did clip Allied.
And look, completely necessary. Again, they're just this was as close to perfect as you could really get for as far as not necessarily all parts. Of course, there was 0 deaths on the side of the team, but just the execution of the ultimates and the beats were just almost perfect.
And it just makes you wonder why Kiki doesn't play more Janus.
Well, the teams have very different identities. You usually see sort of different roles as far as Kiki is concerned. So.
But it's Janus. He's really good.
It is Janus.
MLC Stealth, he's your top performer at 48. JeffHindla right behind him, 41.6. BaRRaCCuDDa puts in 40. Hurriwind, surprise Hurriwind 38. And Old Din on the Hercules, showing off his frontline support, 31.9.
I've always liked Hurriwind. I'm glad that he's found a home on the Cloud9, and it would really impact things. It was funny. We watched early. His first blood wasn't so hot. And then as the game went on, he was able to impact
he was fine,
the game.
yeah. So. Yeah, he got smacked by Cyclone Spin one time, but